Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear us?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Ellen Burka.
Am I allowed to sit down?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyway, today is the day that we remember Toller. And I thought to mention to you how it all started. And I'm going to tell you about the first 10 days with Toller. I didn't really know him very well, but I'll tell you the following story. It was 1968, Canadian Championships in Vancouver, and also the team for Olympics was picked out of the ones who placed in the right order. I was very fortunate because my students, Jay Humphrey and Linda Carbonetto, made it in, but poor Toller came fourth and didn't make it. Well, all the results were talked out and people were talking and screaming and announcements. I saw a very forlorn figure. He said, I know I didn't do well the last few years, and you know I didn't make the Olympic teams, and everybody has told me, get out. Even the Canadian Figure Skating Association said to me, get out, you're too old, you're 18 years old, quit skating, we don't want you anymore. But he said, I love skating. What shall I do? I want to give it one more try. Mrs. Burka, would you be able to teach me? Well, I didn't even know him very well. And bottom line, I had to think it over, etc., etc. Anyway, the next day he arrived at the Toronto Cricket Skating Club on the ice. And he started to skate. I looked at him. He looked pretty overweight. Didn't look so good. But Jay Humphrey and Linda Carbonetto, preparation for Olympics and Worlds, which were just a few weeks later, went through their programs. He stood with me and watched them. Then he stood there, looked at me, and he wanted to get kind of information about him. And I said, okay, Toller, why don't you do your program? It doesn't have to be good, but just skate it because we want to see what you're doing. I don't even know your program. So we went through his program, which honestly was not very good. But anyway, he came back to me and looked at me, and I looked at him. There he stood, sweating. Steam came out of his hair. I've never seen that before. I said, Toller, do you want to hear the truth? And you know, I call a spade, but I try to be as nice as possible. I said, Toller, if you want to come here as a student, I'll give you some advice. First of all, you're overweight, but that can be helped. Second, you have very bad conditioning, really bad. That has to be worked on. Besides, you need a new program, and I don't like your music. Third, you are not dressed properly for the ice. He arrived in a brown jumpsuit from thin material with a zipper from here to there, with a belt around him. And I remember bringing looked disgusting. Later I found out I had two more jumpsuits, one in mustard yellow and one in mustard green. The worst taste ever. Anyway, when I told him these three things, he just looked at me, steaming his hair, turned around and left. Went out, took his cards off, went out of the door, he was gone. I said, okay, that was a short meeting. 2 days later, he came back. He came back on the ice, stood in front of me and said, Mrs. Burka, I will do anything you tell me, I will do it. So that was it. The next morning, at 6:45 in the morning, when we went, Patch was when we did figures out, he came towards me with a big portfolio, very big, and opened it up, and inside were all these beautiful drawings and paintings with all without frames. And I just took a look. I said, are you an artist? He said, yes, Mrs. Burka. I attended the Beaux-Arts in Montreal. I've always painted from the age of 5, 6 on. I didn't know that, of course. And there was so much to see, and we had to go on the ice and do figures. So I said, you know what? I live around the corner. Come tonight at 7 o'clock to my place. I want to see the drawings once more because I'm interested. Of course, he didn't know either. I'm an artist myself. I painted all my life in oils. My mother was an artist. My husband was an artist. But I was still in Holland. Before I came to Canada, I knew many, many young artists, so I was always interested in young artists. So he came that evening and showed me the portfolio, and I was amazed. Beautiful. I said, Toller, what are you doing now? How is your life? He says, well, my life's not very good right now because I've been thrown out by 2 landladies by now because nobody wants to smell my turpentine and my oil and whatever. He had no place to go. I didn't know that. Well, my mind went around and around quickly. I said, well, you know what? I have a studio downstairs, because I paint myself. It has an easel, it has a big table, it even has a bed. It has a 2-piece bathroom, washroom. I said, you can stay here for 7 days. I know how to go here. And if you want to come over, at the top of that, you also got family. Okay, I said, if you want to move in for 7 days, because you want to find another place, I will give you time. So he disappeared. 1 hour he was back with all his little luggage and moved in for the 7 days he was supposed to stay. And he stayed for 7 years.